this hasn't shown much strength on the way back sideways. It gets right at that prior level on the daily without showing a heck of a lot of strength just yet. So if we can break this little consolidation, I'm still looking long on this. It's about the only, like I said, it's the only name I'm really looking for a long. Just wanted to break out this trend, and then we can get back into or get into it for the first time here on CELH Celsius, the big short float name.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, although it's been a little bit of a rough day here, as you guys can see, we do want you to scan that QR code below. That is for sure to start your journey with eSignal. Get that going ASAP. It's eSignal, 1 month free. You know, all the data, all the best markets, any market you want to trade actually is all entitlement based. So you can get over there, join the fun with eSignal, and make sure you do it daily. Check in with them, because you never know. You know, overnight you had Japan down 4+%, right? Leading into what's happening there today. Back check. Back test, anything you want, man. Raw, as you just saw right there, a wide array of tools available for eSignal. Connect over 50 plus brokers and join the eSignal revolution today. And you can do it for free by scanning that QR code. Trade smarter, not harder. So yeah, man. Look, I've only traded 3 names today, and they haven't been super great. But what we're doing right now is battling the hell back. And I mean, right now, we just took another short right there on the futures. We let it go all the way back up. But now, because it's not that it's getting too late, it's only 10:40, but at the end of the day, you know, trying to, okay, here we go. Trying to scalp out and salvage this day. I know it's like, again, I can, you know, we can all see the numbers. We can all see the trades that Neil and I have been put on. Obviously, it hasn't been a huge day. But at the end of the day, all this name has to do now is get back about back here to 54.10 or so, and we'll be up on the Qs. We already have, we have a monster trade here in CoreWeave. We talked about that earlier as well. This is still $1 in the money. Then the only other trade that we made on today was IBIT, and I feel pretty good about getting out of that. So, you know, we're able to sort of hold our losses a little tighter to our chest. So we're happy with that. Okay, here we go. But now here comes the TQs, man. We are battling all the way back, man. This is going to be a big, hopefully, knock on wood, a big rebound here for the shorts. Let's see if we can keep it going now. Today's day is still fine. Obviously, we're right where we need to be. We're not where we were early. We were up about a day that we were looking to make. Now we're down about a day. So, you know, kind of up and down, and this is what we do. That's why I just wanted to look. You know, sometimes you got to figure out what the day is and relate it to the rest of your month and things like that. So as I just said, man, good month here. It's been tough. It's been tough to find winners, especially if you're looking short today because of where the market is. You had the initial move, then you had one other move right here, and maybe we have one now, but starting to feel like things are switching a little bit here, right? I mean, the market, like, is Tesla above 250 again? No. So, okay, so that's still holding out. And then NVDA, I don't think that's getting, okay. Everything's just where you kind of expect it to be. Like, I'm hoping for something to really move here, which is why we just go back to the futures.
Oh, I go.
Yeah, we talked about this, man. By far, like, this is by far my #1 stock this month. We've really been trading it really well. So let's just see if we can get a little bit lower right now for this. CoreWeave still continues to go. It's Sector Watch. It's Adara.
We're also going to talk here about some news first. So we do have apparently some comments coming up from Chinese state media. China. Wait, what? Sorry about that, guys. China, Japan, and South Korea, according to Chinese state media, have apparently reached a consensus that all 3 sides will jointly respond to the U.S. tariffs. So apparently a coalition here, according to Chinese state media, between China, Japan, and South Korea to respond to these tariffs coming from the U.S. Speaking of tariffs, Finch ratings agency also saying that U.S. tariffs are going to be having a negative, uneven credit impact on some of these global automakers. Let's take a look here at the market. So lots of weakness, especially if you're talking big tech. Apple relatively flat today, but NVIDIA and Broadcom nicely right here in electronic technology. Microsoft, Meta, Netflix, all to the downside in tech services. Retail trade very strong with the notable exception of Amazon down about 4%, and consumer durables here being dragged to the downside by TSLA. Also some weakness in health technology, consumer services with the notable exception of McDonald's, producer manufacturing, and finance. Now, energy minerals having some nice strength here. XOM, CVX, COP all to the upside. Communications pretty green here across the board. Health services, UNH up about 1%, and consumer non-durables to the upside. Utilities as well, with the exception of CEG. CEG is worth noting too, because of its role in data centers. It's actually closely traded to some of these AI plays as well. So if they're at the downside, looks like CEG is as well. But generally, if you're not looking at tech, you might be able to find some strength in this market, guys. Back to you.
Up for Moderna. You might not be able to find it in mRNA, but shout out to I just had it up. Where'd it go, Fabian? Shout out to Fabian, who I just lost my chat. I'll get it up in a quick little second because we have a poll up, not a poll, we have a question in the chat. What would you like to see from the show? Remember, it is only a subscriber's chat. So if you want to answer, if you want to jump in, ask questions, hey, this stock is moving, what's going on over here? Or do you see a setup on this, or what are your thoughts on this particular play? You have to be in the chat to be able to do that, and you've got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. I just jumped back into, I'm already in Mara, but we jumped back into it a second time off of this 1180 high, and Amazon is now holding, it might break this trend to the upside. We'll see. I mean, it's actually riding trend since the pre-market. There was one break. I got out when it broke VWAP, but then confirmed these lower highs. So it's a bit of a pressure point here for Amazon, which I'm still favoring to the south side. No questions asked. I want to favor the short here. It needs to close this and start breaking lower. We did get Mara back in. Watching over, we're at 83, but Mara did another topping tail off that 1175. So jumped in, wanted to VWAP, and then we'll work on, if it breaks this 1155, I think it's floodgates that open up on Mara. Remember, on a higher time frame, I'm still reminded, why is this still on Amazon? Not sure why. Hit enter again. Looks like it doesn't want to show it. Mara, which I'm just going to have to do this way. Flat bottom break on Mara, and as long as it's underneath 12, I'm favoring shorts.
This goes to show.
That's the idea, everybody. Here's your 12 even. There's your break underneath, and we want that short the whole way through. As long as it's underneath that price, I'm favoring the short. I think there's lots of room into the downside on MARA.
All right, here we go, guys. Yeah, good call there on Moderna. I mean, on our watches, I was like, what down? We got a FDA head leaving there, so stepping down. So thinking that might change the way that they operate over there. All right, so the future just came back in. I was actually bidding 50. I mean, believe it or not, it doesn't really matter, but I was bidding 54.05s. We got as low as 54.07s. Let's see if we can come back in here again for the futures. We're now positive on the TQQ, so we'll go props up for that one. We will go over in just a couple minutes what's for lunch. I'm going to load up that as well. That I think it's been a pretty successful look here at what's for lunch. You know what? Let's just do it right now, as well. Maybe the futures will continue to make the move down. All right, on Monday, March 31st. Not bad. You might be hearing us say this a lot, but if you are a big fan of chicken dinner winners, then maybe you are a big fan of grilled Greek chicken. Today was, why not, right? With seasoned vegetables and Greek salad on the side with some rice. So that might be okay today for lunch. Grilled Greek chicken, rice, vegetables, and salad. That's what's for lunch. So, all right. There we go, man. That's what's for lunch. I'm going to open this with Google Docs so I can have it for you every single day. We'll do it around this time, what is going down for lunch. Let us know what you guys are having, of course, for lunch there in the chat as well. All right. Look, I'm going to take in another piece right now because, like I said, we had battled all day for this. And, so far, so good. Besides IBIT, we will be positive today. Obviously, we're going to be negative on IBIT. We're going to go 2 for 3 with CoreWeave being a big one, the biggest of big ones right there. And then I still think that the TQs could turn out to be an absolute monster. It's just we're still waiting for this to fall back in there. We did support this short a couple times. It's going to be a big one there. So let's go, man. Hopefully make some more downside moves on the future. So that's really what I've been doing over here. So yeah, we'll be down, but again, going 2 for 3 is fine. I just need this Qs to settle down over here. So I don't know. I know you've been in a few names. How's your day going over there?
Let me just get my charts back. I just had all my charts
I'll
for a
go.
second time.
What's up, Randy?
It is what it is. Here, you just give me a couple more.
Yeah.
Here,
All
just give me
good.
my futures charts.
So
back
Randy, I do
here.
see that we do have the electric. It's still not ready yet, though. Down there, is it?
I
Oh,
sent
it's
you
done
the
now.
picture. It was.
Oh no, but we were missing a part. Oh no, I parked right beside it. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's about that time to look at that. I still want to get that electric Golf. We talked about that, so hopefully, I know. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to figure something out. No, it's not out yet. Maybe out in Europe. We talked about that when we were out with ICE. The ID4, yeah. There's also the ID7 that's released this year as well. So that's Volkswagen. Let's check out Volkswagen. VWAGY. Right there now. Xiaomi. Ride around in some Chinese. Would I even fit in a Chinese car? All right, down 4% right now is Volkswagen, as that's starting to break lower as well. So there goes Volkswagen to the downside. So yeah, that's not working out too well for them. But Randy, we got a nice bump up in Rivian today. I know you talked a little bit. Well, it's still down 3%. No, but I mean, still considering, right, where this market was today. We had Tesla downside, Rivian up to 1230, now trying to bounce off 12, holding an area there of concern. So we'll see Rivian. And then Tesla hasn't really been too violent today, to be honest with you. Up and down about $5. Started the day there in and around 248, goes down to 243 and change, makes a move back to 253. So 252, $8 top to bottom, and now we're in the middle of the range. So let's wait to see, man. It looks like Tesla's wagging the tail now, because if that can go back up, this market will really, really start to scream, I think, anyways. Tesla and NVDA trying to hold the key. And then Apple was the only big tech name. That and TSM were the longs today. Look at Apple. Apple breaking the top right now. So
Right, there we go.
I have no intel on Intel. No. But yeah, Intel's been.
I can show you.
I think Neil was in that one.
We're into one time I was into Intel. It's as a shot to go green, but this is the kind of what you have to do on the way up. You either had the early shorts on a host of names, and you could just go down the line. You broke bombs. And I saw a good point in the chat there. Someone was saying it's hard to short when things are at the low at their ATR. So like if you ever at the bottom in a full ATR, you can get follow through, don't get me wrong, but if you don't get that initial pop and fade or that initial breakdown, it's a little trickier on the way up. Intel, as far as I'm concerned, it's still underneath Friday's bottom, so I'm waiting for an entry. Like I want the entries to look like this, like clean in, and then maybe you get some continuation. If it does another break of trend, I'm going to take another shot at it. And we're still in Mara. This one actually broke-ish the pre-market support level, and then kind of came back in there. I'm going to take another shot at it. It just bounced off VWAP. If we do another fade like that where you get a wick high, then I'm entering on that kind of a wick top. But then you throw in like NVIDIA, which was a one short under VWAP. Load up, don't crash. There we go. A one short under VWAP on the way back. Okay, well, I wicked out, could have jumped back in for the win, but if I short that same level, you're getting blown out again. But NVIDIA is still under his volume-weighted average price. Like, this looks to me like it's still a short. I just don't like the choppiness that it has. And then I said this, where's my daily here for NVIDIA? And one of the reasons I'm not in it, again, you're basically just hanging on to that low from March 11th, like back and forth, back and forth. So it's not as clean. Mara is, well, I like Mara, as I said, it's still underneath that big bottom break. But I think it's got a little bit more downside push and more weakness underneath. The longer it holds under this level, the better I think it bodes for this weakness overall. And you throw in the fact that IBIT is showing you a little bit of strength here. So I load this one up. Like IBIT, look at the strength in IBIT, and then I pull up Mara, and I see relative weakness in Mara. So this is the one that I want to keep reloading until it says otherwise. And it's at 1180, that's the key level here. So trying to get it high 60s, low 70s, maybe mid 70s as well. A scalp to VWAP, reload, rinse and repeat, because I think we can still see that low of the day.
All right. Let's just, okay, here we go. So just looking at the TQs, I was trying to actually short a little bit more up here. So we'll wait to see what is going on. I just see, okay, let's go over to Adara and go over Money Talks.
Here is the US dollar. This one here, certainly, this is on the daily chart, still in that downward move for the most part, off of that kind of rounded top situation here. Lower highs, lower lows, but we did get a little bit of a curve here for the US dollar as of late. Now, though, we did have this Slight push here last week to start the week, trying to push back to the upside. Gave up pretty much all of that move on Thursday that we added Wednesday to the upside, now continuing to trip lower. It's really been a little bit consolidative as of late. So let's see if we're able to have a green day and take out yesterday's, or I guess Friday's high, sorry, of 104.5. Currently trading here around 104.25, but bouncing nicely here off these intraday lows of 103.75. It's an incredibly light day when it comes to economic data. We did get this Chicago PMI a little higher than expected at 10:30. Dallas Fed manufacturing lower than expected. Tomorrow we get JOLTS job openings, and on Friday we're going to get NFP, non-farm payrolls. But we're going to take a moment now before we send you back to the guys to thank our friends at ProfitX. Are you looking for unbeatable odds on the biggest games? Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. There's no more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX, sports playing reimagined. Users can use code TRADERTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
Shout out to ProfitX. Finally put one on the winning board for that, because I made 2 homer bets on the Jays on opening day because I was going to be at the game, and sometimes it's just a little more fun that way. I'm being real. But then I actually legitimately believed that Michigan State was going to get to. I didn't think they were going to make the Final Four, but we put money on them to at least get to the Elite Eight. Unfortunately, they're looking a little bit weaker. Daniel, just to answer your question in the chat, did I buy anything? I think you asked today. No, in my long term. No. I'm waiting very patiently for the next salvo. I think we have room to go on a lot of names. So I'm waiting until next round of earnings. We already bought this. For me, I already bought this quarter, so all the things that I liked, I picked up. The only exception is I have a stink bid on ARM. That's all. And that's not even close to filling. Knock on wood, that could happen this week. You never really know. So Amazon did break holding the trend upside, or holding this trend, but very, very barely. So I think a press into VWAP is going to have to make sense. And then just going back over to Intel. Intel makes another top and a lower high. So same entry plan as before. And if it breaks this prior top here, we're going to enter or exit the short trade. So you're getting another lower high still underneath this prior support, which is turning into resistance on Intel. So I can pick it up in the 40s, give it into the top, and see if we can't get a VWAP retracement a second time through here on Intel. What else you guys got going on? Love Sales says they bought AMZ at $100 a share today. Well, I can only assume that's in the money for you because everything is bouncing off of these lows. Good luck. I'm not a huge AMD fan, but at the end of the day, its PE is no longer as forward PE, I should say. Its forward PE is starting to look pretty reasonable. So on valuation basis, no longer crazy on AMD. Just not a huge fan of them in the general sense. I'm more of an NVDA, and I think there's going to be an opportunity next quarter for NVIDIA. If I see an 8 in front of NVIDIA, that's 100% a buy for me.
Yeah, okay, Tony. Yeah, I was wondering because you asked about the floor being in the back. Yeah, I've already told you this is a tough game. I mean, like I said, we're an open book. You guys can ask us how the month's been, how our days have been, anything like that, and we'll tell you honestly, and then you'll be able to see and be able to tell what's going on, right? It's tough. But you got to stick in your zone and stick in your lane. And that's why we keep talking about trade the pool. We keep talking about real trading. Give it a shot. You don't have to be, you could trade like virtually no shares, or you could trade a lot of shares, or you could trade no shares. You could sit on your hands. You could trade futures. You could trade anything you want. But make sure that at the end of the day, that's why I looked at the account. You want to make sure that, where you're trading the right names and the right things and the right attitude and everything, and just keep positive. And yeah, and that is why the floor behind us is completely empty. I mean, if it was easier, it would be full. So we also changed a little bit of the way we do things around here as well, as there's more traders now being hired remotely. But at the end of the day, it is a very, very tough game. And those stats, like I said, 95 to 100% of traders that try to do this as a job will wind up failing. So just remember that. But you found the right spot, and it's about learning and getting better. I mean, if you think about it, if we have 10,000 people watching, those are the 10,000 people that are going to learn more. Hopefully, ask us questions. Like we said, that's why we have that there. What would you like to see from the show? Answer that. It's not public with the answers, so it's not like we're getting those questions. We'll review them and see how we could do better for everybody, right? I mean, some of the questions that we had before was, try to trade more of the futures. And so I've done that, and it's actually, I want to thank you guys for that, right? Trade more of the futures, and now all of a sudden this has become a very, very hot topic around here. And then CRWV, CoreWeave, get into names that are actionable. We broke the low there. This has only had 1 day of trading, but we still kind of follow the same rule. When you break that low, we went short, and that worked out as well. So I didn't come in today thinking that CoreWeave would be my #1 trade, but it is. And a lot of us don't come in any day with too many expectations other than where do we think the market's going to go, and you try to trade the best and try to trade according to that. So that's all I've been doing here, and it's really been working, focusing on specific styles, specific names, and specific profit targets, and it's been good. Like I just said, I've had probably my best month of the year. I know it's early, but was been March, and I really prefer the volatility. It's not going to be true for everybody around here. Some people might have had a great April, not a great March. Some people might have had back-to-back great months. You never know. That's why it's do yourself. At the end of the day, it's just about looking down and being honest, right? And so far today, like I said, we were green. We lost on IBIT. So what we lost on IBIT is what we're trying to make up on CoreWeave. We'll wind up losing a little bit more on IBIT because of the fact that we had more shares. Wrong stock. On IBIT that we did on CoreWeave. And I'm actually kind of glad that we wound up getting out of there. And then the TQs, like I was mentioning before, we were green on them when it was down here into 54. And we're still fine, looking to reload. We will be red so far on it. But there was a question about why sometimes our price keeps changing. If I get into a position right now, then obviously it will adjust my average price. And it adjusts on the way in and on the way out. So all you can do is look at these marks. And that's why I said, best to always ask us, how many symbols, what we're trading, what we're looking at, how our day is going. Because to follow on here, we understand this. We're trying to get better, but it's tough to follow our positions. So I've only been stopped at once of the TQs, and it was right there. And then now short, and back in. So we're going to be fine on this, but I am holding it for low. So hopefully if we get out now, we'll be roughly flat on it, but we're looking for 54 flats on this name, and then that will put a much bigger target on the short, and that's what I think is going to have happen. We get going sometimes on the midday as some of this talk goes, right, with the futures. So let's wait to see.
Well, especially with the fact that, at this point, since the open, the NASDAQ is sort of trending up, but as you keep pointing out, you're still a lot of weakness and down 1.7%. Like if a relief rally at this point doesn't take out the hump, like is it actually going to go? There was a good question in the chat here that I just wanted to where was it? Oh, there it is, like VWAP setting. So we have like so the big thing for the volume weighted average price, at least when you're looking at it, is when do you start collecting that data, right? Like it's just gonna, like it's a very simplistic indicator, but my data starts at 6 a.m. So if I have some small cap stock up that has done tons of shares in the pre-market and it did a bunch before 6 a.m., then my VWAP might be different from yours. But in a general sense, it'll be exactly the same on any big cap name. And if it's different, then I'm not sure why. But we get that question a lot. And usually any difference in our volume weighted average price of yours is just when you start the data and when you start counting the bars and start counting volume. Amazon is pressing into volume weighted average price as we speak. Want to see it either fail there or look at 187. That's where I stopped out on Amazon. Well, actually, no, it was 186.75.
What IPO?
And then, we get back to 187. That's where I want to play the resistance. Was there an IPO today?
Apparently. What was that symbol?
Let's go to Adara.
New IPO here, NMAX. This apparently was prices a couple days ago. It closed at $75 million IPO. This is how NMAX is currently traded. Looks like it's about halted right now. Opening here at $14 even. Right now here around $16.72. NMAX is the ticker. Newsmax. Back to you.
That's so funny. We go maximum damage put on CoreWeave on Friday. We talked about that being the #1 stock, and then we completely ignored the other IPO that was hitting there today. So there it is. Thanks, Adam, for your kind comments there. I don't know if those are great words or not, but they're just words that come from the heart. So that is what it is. All right, man, it's 11 o'clock. You want to wrap? Oh, you're okay. Our position's already off the board. So I'm just short CoreWeave, pretty much out. 5% left of that one, and about half of our TQs looking to reload. All right, good show, Neil, man. We'll get you guys. Yeah, go ahead. I gotta get ready to go.
This actually isn't that big of an IPO, which is one of the reasons I haven't even done 1 million shares worth of volume. So I'd put it in like that category of like lower float runners, maybe not as liquid as I almost said a CarMax. You guys know what I meant. Yeah, Newsmax. Just be careful with it. It doesn't seem like it's incredibly liquid here. And the TAP, the theoretical auction price, is $18 after a 1672 halt. So it's indicating an open to the upside. I'd just be a little bit careful trading this in terms of liquidity. If levels break, you might get a lot of slippage. Let's go on over to the midday where the boys, I'm sure, are going to be looking at Newsmax. Tariff and Joe, go get them.
See ya.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That right there is your boy, Joey Options. And I'm Sharif.
No.
We're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the...
Free Tax USA, where federal filing is always free with no games or pricing gimmicks. Because choosing your tax software shouldn't be a guessing game. Companies may claim their federal tax filing is free, that is, minus the hidden fees, high prices, unwanted add-ons. No way. And when you're ready to submit, it's not really free. Not this year, my friend. You have found Free Tax USA. Say goodbye to forced upgrades and unexpected fees. The only trick up our sleeve is free federal tax filing for everyone. Go to freetaxusa.com.
More boxes, more options. Grainger has over 1,700 box types in stock and ready to help you pack, store, and ship everything. And you can count on Grainger to deliver your boxes fast. Count on Grainger for boxes. Call or click Grainger.com/boxes today.
The hot lane, we got Ned Rec, XRP, Borahut, Mohammed, Time, 1320 Wolf, and Ranjan. Shout out to Northwest Sasquatch. Oslam, Dylan Patel. We got Saint Martin, like the country. We got B. Davis, Michael. We got Hytham, and who else, baby? We got Rev Boost, Andre, Aziz, Gonzo Trader. Like these markets, Gonzo to the downside. We got Bart Simpson, kind of interesting there. We got Wasser, Soko. One more. Come on. Give me one good. Jersey Boy. Okay.
Ooh, right.
Monty G Allied. Another one. And we got Costa. Shout out to everybody on this Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. It's not that good for the long terms unless you're short in the long term for whatever reason. But we will try to make this the best possible intraday trading session that we can muster together.
The best. It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the best day ever.
He got an early start yesterday, didn't he, bro?
Oh,
yeah. You see him on Air Force One. He's like, no, the tariffs are gonna be good.
They're gonna be good. They're gonna be great. I mean, they're gonna be the best tariffs ever. Okay, but yeah, but yeah, guys, a nice little rebound. You wake up and you have that massive gap down in the markets, slowly starting to recover. I thought that was going to be the narrative for some names, especially like Bitcoin. And seeing Tesla, I thought that we would look to start to fill some of this gap here, and that's what's kind of coming into play. We're not there on the overall market yet, but you can see that on IBIT here, guys. Has filled about half of that gap. I took a little trade on it this morning. Really missed this entry down here, Gorb. That was so money. And then I was waiting for this retest of the volume weighted average price, but we didn't get it. So that was the little scalp there on IBIT. But other than that, we're just managing this TQs here. We're slowly grinding higher. So you can see this is entry one right here, guys. Got stopped out break even. Like, all right, let me be a little bit more patient. There's volatility here. Tried again. Small stop out, but then we just hopped right back in, and now everything seems to be working pretty good. We got a hot lesson to touch on, so let's get into what we usually do here, guys, and that's going to be the top performing sectors this morning at the top of its class today. In that win is the consumer staples up about 1.4% on the session, and then we're sitting in second place here is the energy sector up about 1.39, and then the utilities up about 1.1% there, guys. The bottom three, the communication sector, negative 0.8%, so 0.8 there, guys. Consumer discretionary down 1.6, being led by Tesla himself, Elon himself, I guess you could say. And then the tech sector down about 1.7. So the tech heavy sectors seem to be dragging the market down once again. Sharif.
All right, guys, there is an IPO and it is going to halt yet again. Newsmax halted to the upside, 23.66. If you're not part of the cable news world or you just don't care, this is that new channel to kind of rival. I don't even know if it's left, center, or what the hell it is, okay? They seem to be kind of an alternative news source. I don't know. They had Donald Trump on there, I think, last week. So Newsmax is what they are. I just know them because they have that Chris Cuomo guy who left CNN, I guess, unceremoniously because of his brother's actions. And he's on there. I know they have some other older anchors from CNN on there as well. Newsmax is, I see little bits and pieces of it on social media. I get little clips here and there. So it's halted right now, 23.66 to the upside. A big boy look on the day. We'll keep tabs on that for you. And here's what we're looking at for small cappers, though, before we start the lesson du jour. ICCT, this is the best of the bunch, okay? In my humble submission, currently really respecting these moving averages, respecting levels. It's giving you the most amount of volume. It's up 300%, yada, yada, yada. And in addition to all of that, it started running in the aftermarket on Friday. I don't know why. I don't care. We're just going to trade the technicals on this one, but ICCT looking real good here, Joseph. We also have FBGL. We've got Blue, BLUE, Rich Tech Robotics looking like it wants to hold that 10 exponential like a dang glove on the top right of your screen. They're not up much percentage on the day, only about 6 and change. CORT, this was a runner in the pre-market, kind of dying off a little bit, but not really giving up the ghost. It's obviously very expensive, $100 some odd name, so you're going to have to size in carefully here. HOLO, another former runner, one that we know very well on this desk. It is south of $1 though, trying to hold up above the volume weighted average price. UMC looks a little bit better, 14 3/4 right now, trying to curl off that 17.5 or 17 1/3 area low, and then MLGO looks like it's giving up the ghost. MLGO might get replaced here by BYON. Shout out to Tisha. BYON looks a lot better than MLGO. So live in living color, MLGO lost its spot there on the side chart and is now being replaced by BYON, which has a hell of a better uptrend right now, but not up much on the day, about 9.5%, looking to go 10. So Newsmax, as I mentioned at the top, halted 23.66. It is a new, this is an IPO, guys, or DL or SPAC? IPO, right? So this is an IPO, guys. I appreciate that. Adara keeping us apprised of the situation. And it is no better day, Joseph, to talk about IPOs on a second day play on CoreWeave and a first day play on Newsmax. Now, like I planned it, didn't even know that Newsmax was going to IPO today. So just putting that out there. But we are talking about trading IPO flips, the intraday dance, so to speak. What the hell am I talking about? Well, day trading flips involves buying and selling the same stock, specifically IPOs, SPACs, and DLs, multiple times within a single trading day. The goal here is to capture small profits from short-term price fluctuations. This lesson dives deeper into entry points, technical signals, and creating that trading plan. So let's get right to it, as we always do. Why would we want to flip flips with new listing? Like, what's the move here of trading these flips? So number one, there's high volatility, right? These events often experience significant price swings, as we're watching right now with NMAX, due to the hype, the news, the market sentiment shifts, creating multiple entry and exit points. And then there's also, the intraday momentum that we want to capitalize on. New listings can develop strong momentum throughout the day, offering opportunities for quick trades, both on uptrends and downtrends. So that's why we're looking to take things both long and short for these IPOs. It presents us both opportunities there. So what's the art of the flip, so to speak? And I'm not talking about the art of the deal. Shout out to Donald Trump. I'm talking about the art of the flip, taking these long and short on the same day. Well, you got to dig into your technical analysis toolbox in order to gauge that. So let's talk about charting first and foremost, right? So charting, you utilize price charts, moving averages like that 50-day, that 200-day, and as well as, these oscillators like RSI, MACD, etc. to identify potential entry and exit points. So let's talk about the entry, right? Your entry on an uptrend, you're looking here for a price breakout above a short-term moving average. Like if we're trading below the 10 exponential or the 50 exponential, whatever you use on you know, a habitual basis, so that you're able to gauge its validity or invalidity for the specific trade. Don't try to use something novel that you haven't really practiced on. Stick to what you know. So you want to look for a price breakout above a short-term moving average with increased trading volume. This will suggest to you short-term bullish momentum. Then to exit, you're looking to exit on an uptrend, right? If you're taking this long, so consider taking profits. You know, when the RSI for that specific name on the time frame on which you're charting reaches that overbought territory, anything above 70, so to speak, on the relative strength index indicator there, or if the price stalls at a key resistance level. So we're halted to the downside now on Newsmax. We opened up at about 23, we halted at about 23 and change. We opened up at about $30, and now we're halted down to $27. So right away, we can see, you know, for the moment, $30 at an area of technical resistance. And as we talk about oftentimes with these small cap gappers, halt levels often act as intraday levels of both support and resistance. So we have a resistance level at 30 on Newsmax, and we have a possible support level at 23 1/3, the previous halt level. The reason I'm talking about that is we're talking about exiting on an uptrend, right? Consider taking profits when the RSI reaches above 70, or when we get into a technical area of resistance. Case in point, possibly $30 on Newsmax. But you could also weasel entry on a downtrend, right? So you're looking, in this particular instance, you're looking for a price breakdown below a short-term moving average like the 10 EMA with increasing trading volume. You want to see that outsized volume bar on the break of that 10 EMA or whatever moving average you're using, okay? This will suggest you short-term bearish momentum. And then you could exit on the downtrend as well. Here, you consider taking profits when the RSI reaches that oversold territory. In other words, anything below that 30 print on the RSI scale, or if the price finds support at a key level like a previous low, like on Newsmax, that 23 2/3 previous area halt level, okay? So that's where you're charting. Support and resistance, obviously, here is kind of not as nuanced. You could say these price levels are previous areas of support and resistance. We all know what that is. So you're looking for price levels where the stock consistently finds support, these potential buying zones, or resistance, these potential selling zones. Active monitoring, though, is part and parcel of trading these very volatile IPO, SPACs, or DLs. You need constant vigilance. It's absolutely key. And you want to track live price action, track live news flows to see if anything's coming out that could change market sentiment. You want to keep your eye certainly on the order book, that level 2, as well as the time and sales, to gauge market sentiment and identify trading opportunities. If you keep seeing that buyer, I remember CoreWeave, we had a buyer at 38. There was about 8,000 lots on Friday, and that ended up being a great short-term support level. And that's where I got in a little bit above that $38 level on CoreWeave, and I wrote it up almost $1.50, maybe even a little bit more. So keep your eye on the level 2. If there's big boy buy signals at a particular level, you can try to use that big boy buy signal or that big buyer at that 38 level, for example, on CoreWeave, to backstop any price drop. It's not a perfect system. It just helps put the odds in your favor. The odds are that that big buyer prevents the price from dropping because they're buying aggressively at 38. It's not foolproof, okay? I just want to make that very clear. Discipline and risk management is very, very important when there's a lot of volatility, and I submit to you that there is with these SPACs, IPOs, and DLs. Small position sizing, if you're not used to these or if you're just getting acquainted, start with small percentage of your capital per trade, for example, 1 to 2%, to manage your risk, especially during the volatile periods like we are currently on Newsmax. Stop loss orders as well. Always have stop loss orders in place, whether mental or actual or like physical stops. set on your computer to set a specific percentage below your entry price, like a 3 to 5% range, to limit potential losses if the price moves against you. And your profit targets. What we're doing this is to make money, so make sure you're sending out those orders to lock in those profits, because there's going to be a lot of volatility and you may not be quick with the key. So set realistic profit targets based on your analysis and market conditions. Don't get greedy, right, and miss out on potential gains. Aim for maybe, I mean, I shouldn't be telling you guys this, but personally, I'd be looking for 3 to 5% per entry and per exit there. Trading strategies, there's many different ones. Trend following. If a clear uptrend or downtrend has emerged on the SPAC or IPO or DL, trade in the direction of the momentum, buying on dips in the uptrends or selling rallies in a downtrend. There's also mean reversion. Shout out to my man Obi, who'll be on the rest of the week with you guys because I'm going on vacation. If the price deviates significantly from its recent averages, like support and resistance, anticipate a potential reversal and trade accordingly, like buy the dips or sell the rallies. And there's also scalping, right? You're executing multiple small trades throughout the day based on very short-term price movements identified by indicators like Bollinger Bands or MACD, whatever you want to use there. And then crafting a trading plan, just end the lesson here. A well-defined trading plan is your roadmap to success. Here's what it should include. The target asset. So specifically, you want to identify that IPO, that SPAC, or that DL, and then you want to conduct some TA, some technical analysis, if there one is warranted. Okay, so here we go. We just opened up again on Newsmax.
Ooh, damn.
Newsmax, bro. I can't get it right. Let's load it up. And we are defending for the moment that halt level. So that $26, $27 level for the moment getting defended. NVMAX, excuse me. Here we go. So it's trying to defend this $27 level over here, but it did wick below it. Currently still a little bit above it. I'm looking at this area as kind of an important area as well, that $24, that 23 and 2/3 area. We'll have to see how that does. Just continuing on, so do your technical analysis. If there are any obvious areas of support and resistance after a decent amount of trading, keep your eye on risk management as well. Define your stop losses and profit target percentages per trade. Your trade size as well. Determine the percentage of your capital you're willing to allocate per trade. Monitoring tools. Specify the resources you'll use to track the price action, the news, and the market sentiment, and your trading schedule. Set a time limit for your daily trading activity so you don't get wiped out of these trades. And we are, looks like, halted again to the upside with another high day, 30. Oh, no. Wow, that was a false halt, Joseph. Oh, man, this is getting wild here on Newsmax. 30.23, and we just dropped it there to 26, $4 in like a half second there. So needless to say, be very careful trading this. Last but not least, trading journal, something that Adara does very well, Joseph does very well, and I do very poorly. They aggressively journal, at least one person does. Commit to recording your trades, including entry and exit points, rationale for your trade and results. This helps analyze performance and refine your strategy, Joseph. Help everybody.
Yeah. Good look there. I like that you were pointing on that because I was thinking this earlier and I was watching some stuff. And I think the more detailed that you have the ability to create your stuff, then in the long run, you're going to be better off because you can just eliminate so much what's wrong within your trading. And yeah, it's something I want to get a little bit more detailed. So I was looking at some key specific points on what I should be really collecting from a data standpoint. So yeah. All right, guys, no, trust me, ADL, I'm going to go over it. Yeah, and you want to know the honest truth, dude? I don't even look at X. I try to limit my social media intake on the weekends, right? Like just so spend time just doing other things like reading and just working on trading. So I try to eliminate that stuff because you know what it's like, Adam. You get into scroll mode. I hop onto X and it's like next thing you know, it's an hour and a half gone by.
Doom scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. Just pure doom scrolling. And the same thing with on Snapchat. So I just limit to here. I will go over that and that I promise. There is a nice signal here on AAPL for a potential short here, guys. You can see that that topping tail candle right here. And now that we've cracked it to the downside. So hopefully this doesn't drag the overall market with with it. It had, like what Sharif mentioned earlier too, is just it's in its own world. It's not necessarily moving in tandem with the market. It has been trading half decently here throughout the day with a high of 220, which is surprising here on AAPL. And one of the smaller tech names to kind of not gap down. You've seen what we had with the likes of Tesla and some of the other names in the market, but filled that gap and then now recovering a little bit more from Friday's session as well too. So that's a good look on AAPL. We're good. And that's kind of my thesis on the day. I'm happy with my positioning. So Skull, to answer your question, it's like, do you guys use support and resistance ascending and descending wedges? Yeah, trend lines and everything along those lines. Yeah, we do. And we don't always necessarily draw them, but we take mental notes, right? So you can see that I already had this in my mind. You can see the consistent higher low throughout the day. And then we have a resistance zone there as well. So if you want to see what we're exactly marking out and looking at, there we go. You can see that's a perfect example there, Skull, of an ascending wedge here. Is the TQ is going to break out? I do believe that we can start to fill some of this gap, and that's my game plan on the session. That's why I'm still continuously holding on to this. What time did we get in there? At 10:30, and now it's 11:30. So I've been just sitting in this position for the better part of an hour here now, looking for this pre-market low to be broken. And if we can break that, then I think we can head into the highs and then start to fill some of that gap that we had occur this morning. So we're going to need some of the big names to continue to participate. I do believe that NVDA might get the ball rolling and Amazon as well too. I like how Sharif mentioned that Meta was really, really strong this morning. For about like 45 minutes or so, a little bit longer than that, it didn't put in a red candle. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, about 35 minutes. But then you can see a healthy pullback here as well too, folks. So nice, strong work. And a lot of these names are kind of forming the same. They're identical in some ways, price action pattern. You can see the consistent higher lows and then a flat top here. A nice whipsaw move, but we're all starting to compress and prices starting to compress. So if the TQs can break through this pre-market low, then I believe we can continue to climb a little bit higher. And that's why I decided to hold on to this position. Going to look for 55 for the next out and then wait for that until you can see the steam really start to dwindle and then the names start to curl over. But strong move for IBIT. It's unfortunate that we missed this. I seen the bottoming signal right here and I'm like, oh no, I was waiting for the pullback through VWAP, waiting for the hold of the zone and then looking to participate on that front, but we just never got it and it was continuously strong. So again, it sucks that we missed out on the trade, but then for the long term is really happy because this is obviously my largest holding. So okay, let's see what everybody else in the chat is up to. Are we sure there isn't some kind of sector rotation coming? Well, I mean, I think it's kind of already in the works, right? When you have tech down drastically and then you have XLP, the staples, holding up relatively well, not down compared to some of these big tech names. So the market is most definitely getting defensive and has been getting defensive for some time. Finch Trader says, great show, Sharif. Right on. I missed it. Did Sharif say there were his stop loss was on the current trade? I think someone asked in the chat.
On which one? I'm in a couple.
Yeah, Skull said, did Sharif say where his stop loss was for LCCT?
LCCT. I'm not. ICCT. Yeah. Okay, great question there. So it is the break of the 11 a.m. prior bar low. So that takes us all the way down to 109. So I have it at 108. I've already wet the beak 3 times. Now I'm waiting at 24s and then at 28s. So this is going to be a 10 exponential moving average hold. I perceive this to be a possible bull flag. Now, you never really know on a market like this. You could think you see a bull flag and then you get slapped in the face and all of a sudden you're down nicely. So that we're going to keep an... Are you okay? Everybody all right? Sorry, guys. I didn't know my hand reached that far. You get that? All right. Sorry. I had to do that, Fabian. So I'm involved right now, ICCT peak here, but as you can see, it's zagging, anything below that $110, it's all over. So it's already, the stop's already in place there. Now I've gotten back into, I got into BYON. This is a good looking one. It's not the best percentage mover on the day, mind you. We're going to give this one the old college try. I've got my out through the break of 565, so it's going to have to hold prior bar low. But ICCT, back to this one. Sorry, I'm zigging and zagging between them. This one does concern me a little bit. So I see a compression pattern. And what that means is we're putting in higher lows, but at the same time, we're putting in lower highs. And that's fine. That's what we call a bull pennant. but it doesn't always manifest in the way that the textbook says it will. So the textbook say most bull pennant, most bull flags will resolve in the direction of the trend. Well, you don't need to be a charter market technician to see that this is up on the day. Just look at the percentage. It's almost up 300. So typically it does resolve to the upside to take out that 132 level. That doesn't mean that bamboozlement can't come in the intervening period. So for example, it could break down below that 110, wick us below, and then move along its merry way back up to the high side to take out that high a day. So I am kind of concerned about the lower highs. It shows that the shorts are getting more aggressive in their position. Yes, I got to tell Brendo, yes, we are. Brendo just wants to know if we're, yes, we are. Let him know we are, if you don't mind, in the chat. He just, Brendo asked us something in the chat. Yeah. That's the situation here, but you can make the same argument that the buyers are becoming more aggressive as well, buying this a little bit higher and higher on every little retracement there. So that's the situation. That's my look on ICCT. I've already put in my stop as we dance near that 10 exponential moving average, Joseph.
Good stuff there, yeah. So yeah, we got another out here on the TQs, guys. We'll be sure to keep you up, posted up with that IPO. No doubt about it. Street's already been covering it. But here we go, working really, really nice. Sorry, I got to get this out of my ear here real quick. Okay, so yeah, this is the look on the TQs, guys. We are now through that pre-market resistance zone and now climbing a little bit higher here through that, looking for that next level. So a nice trade here on the TQs, now north of 55, and that's what we want to see, especially when these big names are starting to participate. We can slowly climb higher, and you can see that we had multiple, it was identical patterns on multiple names here. So you can see this wedge starting to be formed here on Meta. We have the same thing here with NVDA. Very, very similar patterns, and then as well as the TQs. And it's a little bit choppy here, guys. Like you can see before we hop onto the TQs again, you can see that this isn't the easiest type of price action here. We're holding some of these pre-market highs along those lines, and then we have a nice low a day established, but now we're just trading within this couple dollar range here, guys. So yeah, a nice up. You can fade the top of the resistance zone, buy support, and etc. So let's see what happens if we can continue to wave through this and then punch through and find a direction here later in the day. But I was talking to my buddy, I'm like, Greg, I'm like, Greg, I think I'm going to grab some NVDA around 95 if and when it does get there. So yeah, that's the name of the game. We're going to continue to hold on to the positions that are working. We're still negative on the session here. Let's see what the Qs are completely down. So half of what we got going on here, and now let's see what that is. And yeah, so 1 1/4 there on the TQ. So still negative, a lot of room to run. And I know people in the chat were asking me, hey, Joe, can Tesla go positive today? I mean, that was a hefty gap down, unfortunately. And to recover all of that, it's going to take quite a bit of a move. So it was holding up relatively strong. We were looking at Meta's chart earlier from a daily perspective as well, too. It cracked through some of these lows, and Amazon ended up breaking through one of these lows as well, too. So holding up here isn't too bad, down about 4.7% on the session. We'll zoom out and see what we got going on from the time frame. So there is still a lot of room to run, right? You can see that we're just running into resistance zones. And if we can break through them, that volume steps in, then I think there's going to be some room for recovery here. And I think that's going to be the overall game plan. Yeah, I mean, Sebastian, that's a hot take. NVIDIA 95, we may or may not get it. But at this pace, like we were trading around 120 throughout last week. And now we put in a low of around 103. Is that going to come into play? I don't know. It's still about a 10% drawdown roughly from where we're currently sitting at. So, but again, I'm just going to put out those orders. If they get filled, they get filled. And if they don't, then that's okay. I would like this stock to start moving well. And if NVIDIA is performing well, then I believe the overall market's going to as well continue to perform well. So that's that game plan. Let's see what we're up to on the TQs. We still have about 33% of this position left. Let me check here to be exact. So yeah, about that there, guys. So about 20% of this position here on the TQ. So going to hold this. I do believe that we can continue to climb. Are we going to go positive on the day? Maybe, but I think it's going to be a little bit more of a slower grind. The volatility is in full effect, having to sit through some of this, but you can see that buyers really start to step in and push it higher. So you just have to sit through this volatile market, widen those stops, and then those moves take a little bit longer considering there's so much ebbs and flows in the intraday price.
Absolutely. absolutely, Joseph. Got stopped out of the remaining amount on ICCT. It kind of hammer candled right into the 20 exponential and then bounced right back up. So I'm back long 116 with a tighter stop this time. Let's see if it holds the 10 exponential this time. I don't know. I felt it might have been a specialist breakdown. We're going to give it another shot over here. So looking at wetting the beak at 122, anything below 10, 1 stops me out. 110, excuse me, stops me out. BYON, we were able to wet the beak there, but I didn't get my ad on that. So I'm a little bit disappointed because I have a bit of a lighter position over here on BYON. It's not the biggest mover on the day, so I won't be taking a larger position on this because it's just not warranting one. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Obviously, Newsmax is all the hype right now, guys. We're gonna keep an eye out on that for you, no question about it. Newsmax trades on the New York, by the way. It is a NYSE stock, and guess what? Halted again to the high side. It is up now 277.8%. It's a monster on the day. It looks like we opened up, guys, at $14. I didn't know anything about this IPO. I didn't know any of the details. Okay, I'm going to get stopped. I got stopped out again of ICCT. So that's it. That's I go 0 for 2, then I stopped trading it. So we didn't have any news on Newsmax. I'm just speaking for myself here. I don't know anybody else on the floor. So I didn't know what the IPO price was. I wasn't able to do all the homework that we did for the CoreWeave IPO that we did on Friday. So this one is, it looked like it opened up at 14, and now we are decidedly higher, halted 37.78. It's going to be really hard to give you any information on this other than, you know, some very superficial stuff. The amount of shares traded on the day so far, 2 million shares. Let's see if we're able to get the float or anything like that. I really doubt it, though, but we're going to give this one the old try. Nothing from Trade Ideas. So, yeah, can't give you much on that. It's open again. The high day now, $40, back down into 38. There is a halt level, guys, at 37 3/4. As we've talked about, the halt levels are, wow, this thing rocketed up to 42. The halt levels act as intraday support and resistance areas, and they have so far today. 42.25, and then it drops down, Joseph, to 37.80. I am not touching this. This is just too much. Yeah, it looks like it was going to halt at 36. False halt there. Right back up to the high side on NMAX. It's got me breaking my desk over here, Joseph. Yeah. No, seriously, though. 42.25, guys. That is the high of the day. Here we go again. Excuse me. I'm incorrect. 43.12 now, the high of the day. But of course, we drop below 40. Now we're above 43. And again, it's a $3, $2.50 spread here, guys. That's a prohibitive spread to try to scalp with. So unless you're really, you know, sizing down very small, or you're going into the long-term look over here and you don't really care about the short-term price, watch out, man. You could get wiped out super quick on this. Be careful. We're going to cover it because it's a job to cover it, but that doesn't mean it's an endorsement to take it long or short just because we cover it, okay? So make sure you are using sound risk management skills here, Joseph, because this is a wild one, baby.
Yeah, wild. Dude, this is moving like one of your small caps here, Shreve. Up over 300% on the day.
Unreal.
This is crazy. Opens up at 14, now trades to a high of around 44, and now continuing to climb higher here. Brother, this is wild. I hope that you guys absolutely have those risk measures in place. You can see these halt measures coming in, and then now just grinding higher. You don't want to be shorting this name on the way up. Be extremely patient here, guys, and wait for that. Make sure that you have those stops implemented, because Newsmax up 334% in a matter of what time did it open up at? 11 o'clock. So 40 minutes. That is a nice return. Hopefully no one's yellowed it. If you have yellowed it, then congratulations. Maybe you're set for retirement soon. But again, this is not something you would necessarily want to do. It is a pure gamble. Be patient, be cautious, and wait for things to cool down, because this can get really